started midway through the pandemic, where we started giving you places that you could dream about. Of course, travel is something that you spend money on, and so that fits in right here on the ET Money Show. Let's talk about Abu Dhabi, though. Join me to talk about why you should possibly put this on your bucket list is Ivana Perkovic, travel vlogger, public speaker, and international business consultant. Thank you so much, as always, Ivana, for taking the time. What can you tell us about Abu Dhabi?
That it is actually a hidden gem of a destination. Abu Dhabi is in the United Arab Emirates, which most people actually know all across the world, of course. But then Abu Dhabi actually might be a little bit of a secret choice, which might be beneficial for your budget as well. It is actually sometimes cheaper to fly to Abu Dhabi from India. It is only a 4.5 hour flight. If you look up different airports across India, you can actually end up saving quite a lot of money going to a beautiful country that is a hidden gem and will make you feel like you're stepping into the movie Aladdin.
Incredible. So it's a hidden jewel in the desert. It's
Yes.
a very developed city, and it is not too far away from India. So it's already ticking quite a lot of boxes. So how much would you say you should normally spend if you go to Abu Dhabi? If I talk about budget right up front, when should you
Yep.
ideally go there?
So, one of my biggest tips would actually be to go right now or maybe at the beginning of September because it is still low season. And most people actually do know that low season in the United Arab Emirates starts somewhere around April, May, and then lasts all the way until the end of September because it is really hot. And I love hot weather, but United Arab Emirates, it gets really hot. However, what a lot of people don't take into consideration is that actually most of the things are air conditioned. So, for instance, I went to Ferrari World, which was a theme park completely indoors, obviously completely built around the brand Ferrari. And the entry ticket for that was 275 dirham, which is about 6,000 Indian rupees. If you look at a complete budget for, let's say, 5 days, because that's what people usually spend in the United Arab Emirates. Why do I keep saying that? United Arab Emirates. Um, it would come down to, I think, a minimum budget, including your flight ticket of around 80,000 rupees. And obviously, it is a luxury destination. It can definitely go up to 1.75 lakh, including
Fantastic.
everything, including the flights, the food, your hotel, and all those kind of things.
Speaking of the time to go, I think in another, I see it's 97 days, 7 hours, and 14 minutes when the World Cup starts in Qatar. So, since it's in the vicinity, perhaps you can also take some tips. But maybe we'll talk about Qatar down the line. Let's first talk about everything that you can do in Abu Dhabi. What are the key? You already spoke about the Ferrari World.
Yeah.
What are the key things to hit when you go to Abu Dhabi?
So you do have to take into consideration that Abu Dhabi is not really big. So 1 or 2 days is more than enough there. And I think it's actually a great destination to link with Dubai. So for instance, 2 days in Abu Dhabi and or even 1 day. And then you can just make the drive to Dubai because that's also something that a lot of people don't know. Dubai is only a 1.5 hour drive away from Abu Dhabi. So you actually get two destinations in one, which I think from a budget perspective is always absolutely genius. In terms of things to do in Abu Dhabi, the first thing that I would recommend to people, which absolutely blew my mind, is Emirates Palace. It is one of the most luxurious hotels in the world. But before you think like, wait, okay, luxury hotel, no, it is really beautiful. Opulent is the only way that I can describe it. They actually even serve coffee with a gold leaf on top. It will set you back $20, but I mean, if you're going for that experience, then it is 10 worth it. However, if you are on a budget, obviously, you can also just walk in and go for a stroll around the hotel. It is massive. So there's plenty enough to see there. And also, if you really want to splurge, you can also obviously stay there, but you can also go to the famous restaurant Hakkasan. Then in terms of things to do, Ferrari World is absolutely amazing. I never expected that. It was not something that I necessarily would have picked myself. However, I was working with a wonderful travel agent, GT Holidays India, and they actually recommended it. So now I'm actually recommending it to all of my friends because the theme park is completely built around the brand Ferrari, but obviously next to the beautiful supercars, there are also a lot of attractions. So that's super fun if you have kids, especially aged between 2 and 5. And then obviously, if one of your parents, like your dad or your partner, or maybe even your nanny, is a fan of supercars, then it is absolutely a must do because there's just so much to see. And the food is also really, really good. And there is also a whole Italian section, which they built because Ferrari obviously is from Italy. So for a second, I also thought I went to Italy, which was a strange realization. Then finally, in terms of things to do, obviously the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque is stunning. I personally have seen so many pictures of it, so many videos of it, but in terms of architecture, there's just no way to capture it on pictures or on camera. You really have to see that with your own eyes. And a pro tip here would be to go during sunset because the way the sun sets on the mosque is just absolutely breathtaking. And from every corner where you look, you just get a different sort of light and a different shade of sunset. It's just absolutely stunning, and the entrance is free. So again, if you are on a budget, then it is definitely a good choice for you.
A couple of important points I think to cover. One, of course, is food, which is truly delectable from what I've heard. And the other is culture. What are the tips that you would give to people traveling to Abu Dhabi in terms of things they need to bear in mind?
So obviously, it is a conservative country. It is a Muslim country. So where I would say Dubai is it is also a little bit conservative, but it is also quite liberal. The culture in Abu Dhabi is definitely more conservative. So it's actually okay for the men because if you just wear the regular clothes that you would wear here in India, loose trousers and a shirt, you would be looking absolutely amazing. For the ladies, I think also if you're used to Indian, dressing standards, just a kurta with leggings or a long dress, a maxi dress with a little bit covered shoulders, that is also amazing. Do keep in mind that at the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque, you do have to cover up your hair. So also bring a scarf, or if you have a dupatta, you can also use that.
And the food, because we have to cover the food. Every place that we talk about, we have to cover the food. So what can you tell us?
Yes, one of my favorite topics. So the United Arab Emirates is predominantly a non-veg country. So if you are non-veg, absolutely try the fish saloni, which is a curry with fish in a tomato sauce and with some Arabic spices. Obviously, you also have to try the kebabs and the shawarma. Then you are absolutely set for a culinary dining experience. But then if you're a vegetarian like me, I was actually very, very surprised how veg forward the United Arab Emirates is. And even in Abu Dhabi, which is a little bit more conservative, I actually found a Beyond Burger in Ferrari World. That's a burger completely made of soya beans. It is actually even vegan. It cost me about 40 dirhams, which is about 800 rupees, but it was delicious. It has something that is very difficult to get into vegetarian food, and it's actually that barbecued smokiness that all non-veg people know from, barbecued meat. But in vegetarian food, that's actually quite difficult to accomplish, and the Beyond Burger has that. So definitely a must try if you come across it. And then, coming from India, I love my Indian food all over the world. And luckily, there is a Saravana Bhavan in Dubai as well as in Abu Dhabi, where you can eat delicious, authentic Indian food in a budget.
Sounds like home away from home. Certainly
Yes.
something to consider when you go. But thank you so much, Ivana, as always, for taking the time.
Thank you, Alex.